All right, good morning, guys. I hope that you guys are doing well and hope that this virtual day will be good for you. I just want to welcome you to school at this time. We're going to be going through our PowerPoint per usual, just to kind of get you settled and so you can have a sense of a normal day. I just want to take a few moments. Just a verse for thought. In the sixth grade class, we are studying or looking at the goodness of God this week for our worship. I'm not going to go through the whole worship with everyone, but just a text to remind us, particularly the sixth graders, on the theme of goodness. And Psalm 27 verse 13 says, I remain confident of this. I will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. I hope that is something that we can cling to. The world is crazy. I don't know if I see goodness when I watch the news anymore, but the psalmist is telling us we can believe and still hope in good things. So if we are confident, if we trust in God, we will see good things again. Along with that, I'm not going to play a song, but I just recommend anyone who wants to maybe get a good inspirational thing going this morning. I recommend the song "The Goodness of God" by CeCe Winans. My favorite song. One of my favorite songs for sure. "The Goodness of God" by CeCe Winans. Give it a listen, play it in your background. It's my kind of music, so I don't know if you guys will love it, but it definitely is a powerful song. Just want to continue with our Women's History Month quote and commentary for the day. Our quote for today comes from Julia Child, and it says, "It's a shame to be caught up in something that doesn't absolutely make you tremble with joy." This hit me especially hard. Still having dreams, still wanting to do things. And I hope that you're in school trying to figure out what it is that brings you the most joy. As a teacher, I recognize it may not be my class. It may not be writing. It may not be reading. It may not be math. But there has to be something that you can do and monetize that brings you joy that you can see doing for the rest of your life. I hope that's what you're searching for. I hope that's what you will find. So good luck in your search, but just find something that you love. We're going to watch a short little video on Julia Child, and that's it.
Dubbed Our Lady of the Ladle in 1966 by Time magazine, Julia Child was a cultural phenomenon who introduced America to French cooking.
Julia was the face of cooking. It was the first time seeing a woman out of a home kitchen as a professional, being strong and powerful and playful.
Julia really changed cooking in the United States because she took it from being drudgery to being a joy, the joy that it should be.
Julia Carolyn McWilliams was born on August 15, 1912, in Pasadena, California.
Her mother had a cook, as did all their friends and neighbors. So there was no interest in cooking. There was interest in eating, and Julia, who grew to be 6 feet 2 inches tall, was always ravenous.
I was always tremendously hungry. My theory was that the more you ate at every meal, the better off you were.
During World War II, Julia was stationed in Asia, where she met Paul Child in 1945.
That's also when she fell in love with food, Chinese food. They would go to restaurants and they talked about food as they were eating it, and that was very different for her.
A year later, they were married.
She realized that the man she'd fallen in love with, Paul Child, was one of those people who adored food.
After World War II, Julia moved to Paris, when her husband was assigned to work in the American embassy there.
Julia was looking for a career, and it was suggested because she was so passionate about learning to be a good cook for Paul's sake that she should go to the Cordon Bleu.
I think when Julie first attended the Cordon Bleu, she did create a revolution. Not only was she a woman, she was an American woman, and she was bound and determined to prove that she could do this, and she did.
While living in Paris, Julie got the idea of writing a cookbook and teaching cooking in her own apartment from 2 women who were doing that. She started working with them on their book, and the 3 of them would alternate classes for American women in their respective apartments.
After many years of collaborative work, the 2-volume, 734-page cookbook was published in 1961.
Mastering the Art of French Cooking was groundbreaking because it was one of the first books to present everything in a step-by-step approach, which made it easy for people to follow and learn.
Julia got her start on TV at the public television station in Boston when she was on as a guest promoting her cookbook. They got so much of a response that they asked her to come back and do a cooking show.
The French Chef was the first nationwide cooking show. Julia Child's attitude was great for amateur cooks. The way she was carefree, and if you make a mistake, it's okay, just keep going, move on.
Julia's presence on TV is what really made her the face of cooking in America. There was no one like her back then, and honestly, I don't believe there's anyone like her today still.
In 1993, Julia Child became the first woman inducted into the Culinary Institute Hall of Fame. In 2000, the Smithsonian National Museum of American History moved her kitchen and made it part of their permanent exhibit.
One of Julia's greatest gifts was she helped to spark an outcry for better ingredients.
We talk about locavores today. We talk about sustainable and organic, and all of these are the names that are given to what I think Julia started.
I think Julia brought to America about changing the way we thought about cooking. It wasn't a job that just had to be done quickly in the kitchen. It was really about having a great time, being in there with friends, with family, and enjoying the process.
In 2004, Julia Child died.
There's no question in my mind. She changed the face of cooking in this country.
Nicole, now that you know what she's famous for, I thought it would be good to just, take a quote and even apply it to ourselves. She says, as a chef, as a cook, if you're not ready to fail, you're not going to learn how to cook. And I thought of us, all right? Insert your particular skill. If you're not ready to fail, then you're not going to learn how to speak Spanish, how to build houses, how to become a doctor, how to teach. Whatever it is that you see yourself doing, you're going to fail. Some years as a teacher is amazing. I feel like I've reached all my students. Some years I'm like, this is not working. It's a fail. But I have options. I can stay down, I can give up, or I can say, you know what, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to push it. I'm going to make something positive happen. All right, let's get ready for our Book Trailer Tuesday.
It was the biggest party of the year, and I was stuck at home doing the worst chore ever, laundry. Then, the power went out, and I discovered a few of my friends were also stuck at home, but no one else was around. 5 kids with no adult supervision and all the snacks our stomachs could handle? Amazing, right? Until we realized our parents weren't coming back. No one was. It's the end of the world, and I'm in my bathing suit. Look for it at your Scholastic Book Fair.
All right, quick announcement, 8th graders. Just remember tomorrow, I think I said it in class, but I want to say it here. Please bring your PSAT practice test booklet to class. All right, I know we were trying to finish the reading. I don't think we got a chance to finish it as a group. I did ask you guys to finish it, but please also bring the reading test. I'm going to give you guys the answers so that you can hopefully check your answers. We won't probably go over it as exhaustively as I wanted, but I may pick out a few things because I know it's probably in the back of your brains. All right, so this portion of our day, I just want to go through the iExcel assignments. I assigned a few. I don't think they will take you the entire period. Then again, they do require you to do some work. We're trying to have an hour and a half, 20 minutes of class. So I do hope that you will take that amount of time to do it. Don't just tell me it was hard and you didn't do it. So I'm going to go through each iExcel assignment just a little bit, give you some information that you need to help you be successful. One thing I want you guys to know, I think this appears on almost all the iExcels. If you look, it says at the very top, even though you can see it on the screen, learn with an example. If you don't understand or you need to read or you have questions, anytime you do an iExcel, please click there. I can explain. I know a lot of times some of you guys don't listen. Your classmates are talking. You don't know what's going on. When it's time to learn, get in your quiet place, click along with example and read and see what it says. They also have a watch with video option that seems to be with most of these iExcels now. Click on the watch with video. It will give you a little mini 4-minute, 3-minute or so lesson about the topic. So there really is no excuse to be like, I have no idea. All right, so this one in one, order topics from broadest to narrowest under writing topics. It's going to give you a list of, as you see, 3 things there, and you have to put them in order from broad to narrow. You should be able to drag and drop as you, click on the different blue icons there. All right. So why is this important? Because even when you're writing your introduction paragraph, remember we're going from broad to narrow. We should be able to talk about a topic in a broad way and then get narrow as we get specific details to what we're going to address. So this is great practice for those of you who still kind of struggle with the idea of how to write an introduction. What does he mean going from broadest to narrowest? Broad meaning kind of talking about the topic, not specific, narrow being very specific. All right, so here's an example here that says the importance of donating to charities, the importance of donating to an animal rights charity, the importance of generosity. So for this one, the broadest topic is the importance of generosity. I can't drag and drop because I'm filming on here, but I would go to the importance of generosity. That's the broadest. You can be generous in a lot of ways. The next topic would be the importance of donating to charities, right? Because charity is one way I can be generous. So it would be importance of generosity, the importance of donating to charities, and then the more specific one, the importance of donating to an animal rights charity. Okay, so I'm imagining an essay where this may be the main topic. I'm trying to convince someone to donate to an animal rights charity. I started with talking about generosity in general. I started talking about how many people have charities in the world. And then I'm going to go in for my point. It's important that you donate to an animal rights charity because. Our next IXL deals with transitions with the better conjunctive adjective. That sounds like a mouthful, and it is, but it's pretty simple. All you have to do really is read the example and figure out what transition word completes the statement best. This is a judgment call based on your understanding of reading and your understanding of the flow of sentences. All right, some things don't make sense if you understand what the the transition word means. It's not about trying to identify conjunctive adverbs or whatnot. Excuse me about the cough. But check on below with examples. They give you a list of the different potential transition adverbs that you can use, and they give you some pointers. But this really is about your ear. This is really about you being a kind of reader that can identify what is the previous sentence saying and what transition word makes the most sense. Let's look at this one for example. It says the Natural Resources Defense Council, NRDC, found that nearly 10% of America's beaches are contaminated by sewage runoff and pollution. The NRDC recommends that you research whether your favorite beach is contaminated. Blank, you don't want to endanger your health. Okay? You have to kind of know what does incidentally mean versus after all. The best answer here is after all. All right? How do I know that? Kind of common sense. It doesn't make sense. Inadditionally means like in addition to that you really didn't know about. But after all, it's kind of saying, well, you know, here's the bigger picture. Here's a summation of all these things. And I feel like that one fits the best. Okay, so you're going to have to be just kind of saying, does that make sense? Does a however fit here or a therefore or whatever the transition may be? It may not make sense with the rest of the sentence. So this is really about your ability to kind of read and understand how do we use these words, which I think is a great practice. This may be the easiest one of all the ones of the IXLs assigned, or this may be difficult for you if you're not one who's going to take your time and actually read and kind of think about, does this sentence flow? Do these words make sense? So give it a go. The next IXL asks you to choose evidence to support a claim. All right, they give you a statement or a claim, and you have to essentially pick. Sorry, my computer's back. All right. There you go. All right, and you have to essentially pick which one of these evidences support the claim. All right. For example, it's important to use punctuation in text messages. All right. Which one of these supports that statement? Punctuation conveys meaning and affects the way text messages are understood. A combination of punctuation marks that resembles a facial expression is called an emoticon. All right. The first one's the only one that should make sense because it's telling you that having punctuation can change the meaning of your statement. So the other one is talking about punctuation, but it's not talking about really how that's important. You know, yes, it's emoticon, great. Why is that important? The first sentence makes the most sense. This should be fairly easy. All right, so take your time, read the first statement above, then go ahead and pick the statement that supports that and first claim that first statement above. If you're confused, once again, watch the video or hit along with the example. All right, so this one requires the most reading, the next two, but they're still simple. All right, it says identify supporting details in informational text. You're going to pretty much read the statement. You're going to click on the sentence, and it will kind of highlight a chunk of text so you can kind of see how they chunk it on IXL. and you're going to essentially click on the statement that supports the statement above, and you have to read everything. So I'm looking at the light green statement above. It says select the best evidence to support the statement that in nature, sweet foods are more likely to be safe and nutritious than bitter foods. Let's read the statement. It says primates, I learned, love sweets for reasons that are simple enough to explain. Sweetness is the natural sign of ripeness and the best assurance, especially when balanced with just enough acids, that the thing you're eating is good to eat. Yet the picture is more complex. The primate instinct for sugar is particular, adjustable, and sometimes seasonal. The lesser mouse lemur of Madagascar, a gourmand among monkeys, raises its threshold during the rainy season so that when sugars are less abundant, it requires less sweetness. Okay? The only statement that makes sense dealing with this whole concept that sweet foods are better or safer is the first part that says sweetness is a natural sign of ripeness and the best assurance when it's balanced with enough acid that the thing you're eating is good to eat. That's the only real statement that supports that, and that's the one you should have selected. And the last I excel is same concept. It's just that now instead of using informational text, it uses literary text. For example, it says, in this passage, the narrator talks about her memories of her mother. Select the best evidence to support the statement that the narrator treasures her memories of her mother. All right. I only had a handful of memories and some were blurred around the edges. I played them over and over, remembering them slowly. And then this, and then that, as if letting a sweet lozenge dissolve under my tongue. Sometimes the memory would cheer me up, but often it would make me sad. I once heard from a counselor that children can form memories earlier than age 4, and even as young as 2, but they forget them as they get older. The statement that best supports this idea, all right, that memories are being treasured is when she says, I played them over and over. That's something you treasure, right? Remembering them slowly. That's when you treasure something, all right? Like a sweet lozenge dissolving under my mouth. That's something that you treasure, something that's important to you. And that one is underlined above, and that should be the answer for that passage. So you want to do something similar as you look at the different passages throughout. Right, that completes my little video with some help for IXL. All assignments should be completed by 4 o'clock p.m. All right, that's giving you plenty of time, hopefully, to get this assignment done. I hope you guys have a great virtual day. I'll be using this time to get caught up with grading. I'm hopeful that when you come back, everything will be graded. I can give you an idea of your exact current grade, and if there is any chance for makeup, which I don't know if I'm going to do anyway, but if there is, hopefully I'll give you an opportunity to figure out should that apply. Remember Wednesday, we will be presenting some of our book reports. On Thursday is going to be a weird day because there's actually the PSAT for 8th graders. I'll be proctoring that test, so the schedule will be a little weird, but we'll talk more about that on Wednesday. Anyway, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. Be blessed.